Hello, this is Andy Stone, Odyssey Project Team Leader for the Vermont Judiciary, and this video is a short overview and introduction to the Vermont Judiciary public portal website where users can look up case data and documents and other records from the court. This is intended as a supplement to the public portal user guide and other training materials that are available both on the portal website itself and on the Vermont Judiciary website. So all users are encouraged to read through those documents as well and take advantage of the other resources that are out there. In order to understand the portal and what it does, we need to quickly understand the three major components of the new system that are relevant to the public and to users of the court. The first being the Odyssey Case Manager program, which is the core case management system used internally by court staff and judges to do all their docketing work and to run all the business of the court. So when you hear people talk about the court's transitioning to Odyssey, this is the core function that they're talking about, and this piece is the replacement for the legacy system, which many people know as VTADS. So this is the internal system that only court staff are using, but it's good to be able to differentiate that. The second piece is the e-filing system, which is Odyssey File and Serve. So there's been a lot of confusion about this, but the e-filing system and the public portal are two separate websites. They each do separate things. The e-filing system, Odyssey File and Serve, does not display all the case documents or records. It's actually a very limited amount of information that you can see, especially for confidential cases. So you would not be able to get case information through the e-filing site. And through the public portal, you would not be able to file anything. So each has a separate function. Each requires a separate registration process. They don't connect. So you can use the same email and login information to register for both, but you do have to do each separately. And the third piece that's important to understand is what we're going to spend the bulk of this video talking about, which is the Vermont Judiciary public portal. The link to directly access the public portal is displayed right there, and it is also easy to link to off of the Judiciary website. So everybody's encouraged to bookmark that in their browsers. So the public portal contains case information that's limited for an anonymous public user. So somebody that's not registered or signed in will be able to see a limited amount of information. And much more information is available to anybody that has a specific right for elevated access on the public portal. So that would include parties and attorneys on a particular case would have elevated access to that case. Generally, attorneys will have access to any case on which they are counsel of record. And certain public agencies will have memorandums of understanding with the court that give them broader access to a whole docket or a case type. So there's a variety of different access levels on the site depending on the user's right of access. And we'll talk about how you request access in just a few moments. There are statewide hearing calendars available through the hearing search function. However, it's really important to be clear that because the public portal is entirely role-based, meaning that you only see what you have the right to see, the calendars may not display complete court hearing calendars on the portal, because if you don't have the rights to see information about a certain kind of case, you're not even going to see it appear on the hearing search results on the portal. For instance, if you're just a member of the general public, you will not see any hearings for juvenile cases or mental health cases or other confidential types of cases. So it should be noted really clearly for all users that the portal does not actually offer a full comprehensive calendar of everything going on in every court. The place where that has traditionally been found on the Judiciary website, that will still be there. So the program is combining hearings right now from the Odyssey system and in other regions from the old system. So everything statewide is still available on vermontjudiciary.org in their hearing calendars. The advantages on the portal, and we'll talk about the hearing search function, but it's a little more customizable on how you can search and filter those things which you do have the right of access to see. The portal also offers some other functions, including online payment of criminal and judicial bureau fines. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So I've mentioned different rights of access, and it's helpful to get a clearer sense of this. So if you're an anonymous public user, meaning you haven't signed up and you have no specific right of elevated access, if you're looking at it over the internet, you are only going to see civil division and judicial bureau case records, and you will not see the actual PDF document images on those cases. You will basically see case information, the parties' names, the docket entries, and a limited range of other information about the case. But you won't be able to pull up the images, and you won't be able to drill down any further into those. However, anonymous users can come to the courthouse, and the courthouses are all going to be having public access terminals in the lobby area where all public case information for all cases, including document images, are available to print and download, or not to download from the court at this time. You can print them from the court. And there's a higher level of information available there at the courthouse than there is over the internet. And for anyone curious about that, the reasoning behind that is some restrictions that are in Title 12, I believe, Section 5, which prohibits the court from putting family, criminal, or probate case information over the internet to the general public. So if you're a party or counsel in the case and you have a specific right of access, then that is not in violation of the statute, but it can't be made available to anonymous public users that are not registered. So as I said, if you are a party or counsel in a case, you'll be able to see everything in all your own cases. You'll be able to see that remotely. You won't need to come to the courthouse as long as your account is set up properly, and I'm going to talk about that. You'll be able to view, print, and download all your case documents right from your home or office. And I mentioned that some public agencies will have a broad access granted depending on memoranda of understanding. So I'm going to switch over now from that PowerPoint to the actual public portal website. And this is what it will look like when you land on there for the first time. You can see that there's an informational section in the top middle, and that will be updated periodically with important information. There's also a link here which will take you right to a spot on the Judiciary website where the public portal user guide and other information and materials about the portal are. So please do check that out. You can see that I'm not signed in right now. I have this register/signed in link here. If this is my first time using the portal, and if I'm ever going to want elevated access in any type of case, it's probably worthwhile to register. Otherwise, I can search, as I said, for judicial bureau and civil cases without signing in or registering in any way. But if I do want to register, I would just click on that and select register. Registration is a one-time process, so once I've done it, I don't need to do it again. I just need to fill out this form, and the mobile phone and SMS are optional. Those aren't being used. You don't need to put those in right now. There may be some future enhancement where we incorporate communication by text messages, but we don't have that right now, so you can leave those blank if you want. You'll fill out these fields, excuse me, and then you'll get a confirmation email sent to you, and you have to open up that email and click on the verification link to activate your account. That's very important. Your account will not work until you've clicked on that link and activated it. To find a case using Smart Search on the portal, it's going to let you search either by the case number or by the person's name. And if you know the case number, that's far and away the easiest and cleanest way to get just the result that you're looking for. If you search by name, you may get multiple people with that name or multiple cases from the same person with that name. So if you have the case number, that's the way to do it. And I'll show that first, and then we'll come back and talk about searching by name. So here's a civil case from the test environment. And because I'm not logged in right now, you can see that it just says register/sign in up top. That shows me that right now I'm an anonymous public user. I'm not logged into any account. One of the things about being an anonymous public user is that I have to do this CAPTCHA exercise where I have to pick silly pictures. I would not have to do this once I'm logged in, so I have to find pictures with cars. And I think I got them all. Now I have to do a fire hydrant. Okay, now it's happy, and I can submit my search. So as long as I put the case number in correct, and as long as I have the rights to see the case, it should pop right up, and I can go right into it by clicking on the hyperlink case number here, and it's going to open up what is called by many names, either a docket sheet or a case summary or a DDR or a register of actions, a lot of different terms, but it's basically a summary of everything in the case that is available for a public user to see, and it's broken out into sections. Different case types will have different configurations of sections depending on what folks are allowed to see and what's available in the case. So what I'm not seeing here, though, is any of the actual filings in the case, any documents, any orders that were issued, any actual hearing notices. There's just data here, not documents. So to see the actual case documents requires some elevated access. So what I'm going to do is back out of here. I'm going to sign in real quick to an administrative account, which is going to be the equivalent of somebody that had elevated access to a case. So I'm going to search again for that same case now that I'm logged in, just to illustrate the differences. It's going to pull up just the same way here. It's going to look largely the same. But now I'm seeing these little PDF icons here. So these are the actual document images, and I can open them up, click on one of them, and it will open right up, and I can print or download or view it, whatever it might be. Again, we're just in a test environment, fake test docs. And if I want to print this out, I can also hit the printer icon here up on the right, and it will give me a printable version of this that'll fit nicely on a regular size piece of paper, or can be saved as a PDF if you like. So let me go back and show how to search by name, because it is a little bit tricky. You cannot search by just a single name. It won't let you do just a last name or just a first name. So you need to have first and last. And so I'm going to search for Homer Simpson right here. You'll see it's going to pull up all the cases in which he's involved. And this is showing me also that there is only one Homer Simpson entity in the system. If there were multiple Homer Simpsons in the system, I would see another dark blue bar like this under here, which would also say Homer Simpson and would list any cases associated with that entity. So you may get in a situation where you have multiple entities, and if you don't know the date of birth or some other factor to narrow it down, you might have to scroll through different ones. But these are all the cases, and I can, just like I did before, I can click right into any of them to open up the docket sheets and see all the information about them and any documents that are on the case. When you're searching by name, I'm going to go back to the search field again. There's some additional things that can be helpful here. One thing is a wildcard search, which is used with an asterisk. So if I don't quite know how he spells his name, but I think it's HOM something, I can put the asterisk there and submit it. I don't actually know if there's any other parties in the system that would fit that. Maybe not. But you can use the wildcard to expand for anything that fits that criteria and anything else. And you have to do, I think, a minimum of 3 letters in the last name and at least 1 letter in the first name. So let's see if I broaden it up this way at all. And there it is. So now I've got a lot of results that fit all those wildcard criteria. Another option you have is with these advanced filtering options down here. You can click on that and it gives you some options to filter by different locations. Right now, these are the only counties that are live, but obviously all the counties will be available there. And you can use this drop down to search by attorneys, by business name, case number. There's a variety of criteria you can use to narrow down what it is that you're searching for, the type of party that you're searching for. You can use this sounds like button here if you are not sure exactly what the spelling is. That will also broaden the criteria. You cannot use the sounds like and the wildcard at the same time, so it's one or the other. You have date of birth filters here for people only born on a certain date or during a certain range. A lot of these other filters here are not necessarily going to be very fruitful for you because they're not all being used in the system. So some of them may be there for future enhancements, but a lot of them may not give you much help. Down here in the case search criteria, though, you have some useful filters where you can say, just civil or family or any particular case type. You can look for cases that are just at a certain case status. You can look for cases filed in a certain date range, and you can filter by cases that are heard by a certain judge here. I want to touch briefly on the search hearings function as well. It's helpful to remember with this that the portal is roles and rights based. So if you're not logged in or you don't have the rights to see all case types, you're not going to see them show up in the hearing search results. You're really only going to see the things that you're allowed to see. And the search hearings function doesn't produce a statewide hearing calendar. It's really much more of a targeted search, and I'll show some of the options here. When you do a hearing search, you can choose a single unit or all locations, a single division or all divisions, and then under search types, you have a lot of options here to search by the case number, the party name, business name, attorney bar number, judicial officer, or courtroom. So party name would be a common one to use. And again, here, just like on Smart Search, you have the sounds like option. And let's see if Homer has any hearings. And I have to put in a date range. So we'll say from today until next month. And I can see that Homer has three hearings scheduled in 3 different cases here. And it's going to give me all the basic information about them here in these columns, the case type, the date, time, hearing, judge, courtroom, all of that. And I can, if this were a longer list with a lot of hearings, which is what you might get if you're a busy attorney and you do a search for yourself to see all your own hearings coming up, you have different ways to filter it. If I'm looking for a case with a particular defendant, I can hit that little arrow and it's going to give me some options to filter further or to do a keyword search for a name or another keyword. I can also switch from this list view here to a calendar view. If folks find that helpful, I can click this little calendar icon here, and it's going to show me each hearing by date on the calendar. And whichever view I'm in, whether it's calendar or list view, I can always click right onto the case number to open up the case record itself. So it's an efficient way to drill down into each case that you have coming up for a hearing, but it is not a master calendar of all hearings in all divisions. I'm going to go back to the home screen again. And the last thing I want to cover is the make payments function here. So again, the portal being roles and rights based, if you're not logged in with the appropriate rights to see a case, even if you or somebody you're paying on behalf of owes money, in that case, it's not going to come up. You won't be able to make the payment. So that would apply mainly to criminal division fines, which require some level of elevated access to be able to find the case to pay it. So I'm going to see if I can pay Homer Simpson's criminal fine here, or at least pull him up to be able to pay it. I'm not going to go through the whole process. I believe he has a criminal case in Windsor County. And because it's important to make sure that the payments get paid on the right cases regarding the right people, this also requires a date of birth. So you'll need to know first and last and date of birth to do the make payments function. So it pulled it up, gives me the case number, says that he owes this much money. So if I want, I can select this and continue it, and it'll take me through a series of screens where I would be able to enter a credit card number. I can pay off his fine right there if I so choose. Now, I've been talking about elevated access, and I want to show everybody how that works. It's a two-step process. The first step is just to register on the site, which is what I showed earlier, where you have to fill out the stuff and then you get a confirmation email and you click on the link and now your account's activated. So great. So that's step one. Once you're registered and activated, then you need to log into the portal. And when you're logged in, you'll see your username up here where it says welcome Andrew for me. And at that point, once you're logged in, you'll be able to click right there where it says welcome in your name, and you'll have some options here. And I'm not going to cover what all these things are, and some of them are admin functions that you won't all see, but you will all have this option that says request access. And when you click on that, it's going to bring up a drop-down menu of different roles that are available for you to request. Some of these are based on memoranda of understanding with the courts, with different public agencies. Some of them are going to be self-explanatory. If you're an attorney, you can get the attorney role. Case party would be any non-attorney case party, other than some specialized types of case parties, such as guardian ad litem, which has its own role down here. A legal admin would be anybody that works in any sort of legal office that would need to be able to file things and access things on behalf of an attorney. So a legal admin essentially has the same access as an attorney, but it's differentiated because of the different roles. So you would select whichever role is appropriate. And then it's going to give you, depending on which role you've selected, it's going to give you some different prompts. For an attorney, it's just the bar number right here, and you submit that. Different roles will have different prompts. And that request gets submitted to the people managing the portal at the Vermont Judiciary Help Desk, and they will review it, and they will take whatever steps are needed to verify the request and they will approve it, and you will get a confirmation email that your access has been approved. At that point, you should be able to log in and see all the things that you are entitled to be seeing. There's a few extra steps for specific role types. For self-represented litigants, there is a form that they need to fill out and submit into the case file that they will file just like any other document. And that's what you would get off of this link here where it says for information on elevated access and other portal information and user guides, click here. When you click on that, it's going to take you to the public portal page on the court's website. And excuse me, let me make that happen a little better here. So on this page, there's a public portal user guide, which contains much of the same information that's in this video here about how to access the portal, how to log into it, how to get elevated access and do all these other things. So that's your number one resource right there. But if you're a self-represented litigant and you want to access the portal, the court is going to ask you to fill out one of these forms and submit it. And that's a way of verifying that you are the person you say you are, and you are going to use a particular email address for e-services. So that form is a prerequisite for non-attorneys and non-agency personnel that are not submitting requests with a vermont.gov address. And there's some other information on here, some other useful documents, and a direct link to the portal here, as well as a space to provide feedback to the court, because this is a new system and we're still fleshing it out and are really more than eager to hear whatever feedback and suggestions come in from the users. And lastly, I just want to mention a couple other quick items. Number one, if you forget your password to the public portal, you have a forgot password link right here, which you can use at any point. You can do the whole thing through an automated method where it will send a link to your email. You don't need to contact the courts. Court staff can't help you with your password. You don't need to contact the Judiciary Help Desk, though they can give you guidance if necessary. You should be able to reset your own password in an automated way. However, if you do have any issues with the portal, unlike the e-filing system, the portal is managed by Vermont. Tyler is not directly providing any customer service for it. So if you do need assistance beyond what's in any of the manuals or other resources, you can contact the Judiciary Help Desk, and there's their email right there. And this is from the user guide, so it's in there. So I hope that some information in this video has been helpful for everybody. There is definitely a learning curve on the public portal. You have to get used to the way the different search functions work. You have to get used to what you should expect and not expect to see based on your rights of access. And you should get familiar with all the different functions and options that are on there. So again, please do reach out if you have questions or get stuck on anything. And we wish you the best of luck with using the new system. Thanks very much.